Okay, let's progress and we'll have a more detailed look at the Project Media window. And you'll remember that we access the Project Media window by clicking on the first of these tabs. Now, just before I talk through this further, I want to quickly add a movie file to our project. So I'll click on our Explorer tab, the second one there, and then I'll choose one of these at random. Well, I may as well go for the first one. I'll double click on it. We've seen this before. As a consequence, this sends it to our track list and onto our timeline. I'll move back over to our Project Media window now by clicking on the tab. And so now we see the familiar thumbnail view of this movie clip. Now this is the first frame of the clip, but if we don't want to see a thumbnail view, then we have an option of 3 different views, and we can access any of these 3 different views by clicking the Views button here. And then repeatedly clicking this button will progress us through the 3 different views. Now, let me just show you what these 3 different views are first of all. You can do this by clicking the drop arrow there, and then you'll see the 3 options: List, Details and Thumbnail. As you know, and verified by the icon there, the thumbnail view is the one selected at present. But let me show you what else is on offer. If I click List, then this displays the file name only in this main area. Now that might be what you want if you don't want any further details about the particular file in terms of its use in our developing project. However, if you do want details, then of course click on the drop arrow once more and then choose Details. And then once done, we now see any used media in our project. This is only showing up this one file at the moment because that's all we've brought in presently. But for any media files that you do have, then you will access the details with all these different category columns. And there are many more category columns available. They're just hidden out of sight at the moment, so you might need to use the horizontal scroll bar there to drag to see them. You don't simply have to left click and drag, you can click through as well to see what's available. And as you can see, there are many different detail columns, and they include time code, in and out positions, the length of your file, the size of your file, any information about any audio that you've got included, etc, etc. Now I'll just take it back to the start. Now just as a reminder, you can choose from List when you simply want to see a list of all the media that you use, or you can use Details when you want to see more information about individual files. Or you can use the Thumbnails view. Now that's the one I tend to use most. So now that we've got all that covered, when we are building up our projects, we don't necessarily want to instantly add all our media files to our timeline when we import our assets. So with this in mind, we're going to look at importing various media types prior to sending them to the timeline. Remember, simply importing a media file allows us to add them to the project media list prior to then assessing their usability, and then if we do want to use that particular file, then we can use it in our project on our timeline. So to import some media, as we've seen before, go up to File and then down to Import and fly out to the right where it says Media. And of course I get this collection of folders of all the media types within a certain project that I've determined is my main project folder. Now at present I'm looking only at the video folder. So now with this project, this isn't too complicated because there are only going to be a couple of different types of file, movie files and audio files. Well, saying that, I probably will use some photographs too. However, if you've got many different types of file, then where it says files of type, just use the drop reveal to reveal all the different file types that you can import. Now here, because I've organized my files into folders, this option doesn't really make much sense to me because within each folder, this video folder for example, I've only got video files. That said, even within a video folder like this, I might have a mixture of MPEG-2 files or QuickTime files, etc, etc. But imagine I wasn't this organized and I've just simply opened up one folder within my project that contains all the different types of file. And within this folder, well, maybe I only want to import movie files, and I don't want to see this list cluttered up with audio files and photographs, etc. Well then, I would select the movie file option only. Let me show you what I mean. If I click on here, then I can see many different options that I can restrict or narrow down what becomes visible within the actual folder. This doesn't delete anything, it just filters out anything that doesn't correspond with whatever we set this to be. So for example, if I scroll up and down here, and perhaps I'm searching for an MP3 file, then of course I would click on MP3, and within here now we would see all the available MP3 files within that particular folder. As it is, I haven't got any MP3 files within this video folder, but you understand the principle, I'm sure. Now let me take this back to viewing only QuickTime movies. Okay, so I'll finish up here then, now that we've had a look around how we import files and how we assess files prior to bringing them into our project onto our timeline, and how we can set things up so that Vegas Pro 12 works the way that we want it to work.